Hello, everyone. Welcome to my new podcast. This podcast is going to be about all the topics you might find in the Aptis Advanced exam from the British Council, all the topics you're going to get in the speaking part, okay? And also in the whole exam, because in the other parts, all the topics are always travel, technology, artificial intelligence, education, the environment, etc., etc., right? So, my intention here is to speak at C1 level, okay? C1, C2 sometimes, but mostly C1, okay? And I'm going to keep it informal, not in the sense of that I'm going to use informal grammar or vocabulary. Informal in the sense that I'm going to speak and go with the flow in a natural way. Okay, so I might ramble a bit. I don't want it to be really structured. Okay. So I want to keep it enjoyable. I want you to practice your listening as well. Uh, you can grab ideas too from my opinions, my experiences, my views. Okay, you can get ideas and think about your own situation, your own experience as well. So, topic, as I've said before, remember now if I've really said it before, but the topic is it better to live in a city or in a village? Good. In my experience, I've lived in both cities and villages. Well, actually, a village, the one I'm currently living in now. Okay, but I've lived in Barcelona, I've lived in Hospitalet de Llobregat, which is another city next to Barcelona. I was raised in Hospitalet de Llobregat, so I've lived in that city many years, okay, more than 20 years. Also in London, I've lived in London almost 20 years ago for some months, okay, and now I'm currently living in a seaside town. Well, I'm not sure if I should call it a village. It's got around 25,000 inhabitants right now. So, well, village, town, well, it's a seaside town, okay, and it's just an hour driving from Barcelona city. And I'm actually really happy, okay. I'm going to start talking about what what it means to me living in a city or what it meant to me in the past. Okay. So, it's always a matter of personal preference, of course, but at a certain stage in life, people tend to prefer living surrounded by a slower pace of life. Okay. When I was younger, I loved the fast paced lifestyle the cities provided, right? Um, maybe I was influenced by the fact that I was raised in a city, okay? But I loved all the job opportunities it offered to me, all the leisure options as well, because I loved going to gigs, going to the theater, going to pubs and discos and so on. And I had plenty of options in the city. Also, the hustle and bustle, the fact that it was so easy to meet new people and to hang out with your friends and so on. But a big disadvantage I find is the cost of living. Okay, especially nowadays. When I was younger, I was able to afford living on my own in a flat in the city center in Barcelona, right? But right now, in 2026, this is completely unaffordable. Okay. Uh, the prices, the housing prices have gone up so much that it's crazy. It's so crazy, right? But going back to the advantages, one thing I loved from living in the city was that I didn't need a car to commute or to travel or to move inside the city. Um, Both Barcelona and London have a really good public transport system inside the city, right? The metro, buses. Well, in Barcelona, I wouldn't mention trains because Renfe is, oh my God, this deserves a whole different episode, okay? But in general, buses, the metro and so on works really well in Barcelona. So I got up when I was living in the city in my flat, and in just 10 minutes, I was at my workplace. So that was like magic for me. But now that I live in a town 1 hour driving from Barcelona, I find it really hard to commute every day to the city, especially with Renfe, right? But that's a different topic. I'm not going to talk about it here. Um, the fact is that at a certain stage in life, you tend to prefer a slower pace of life. You tend to prefer living surrounded by quietness, maybe nature. In my case, I've got the hills, the mountains, and also the beach. I can go walking in 5 minutes to the beach. And yes, especially when you have children, I think one uh, prefers the quietness of a town, the nature, and also the fact that you live in a close-knit community. I mean, it's very different the way you treat your neighbors in a city than in a town or a village, of course. So that's another thing to consider. So, well, cities are exciting. I mean, in a nutshell. Uh, but that said, they can also be quite stressful. So it's a matter of personal preference, as I've said before, right? In my case, I'm really happy living in a seaside town. Okay. The cost of living is not the same, of course, as in a big city. I can afford having my own home, um, and it's so different. It's so different, and it's positive. Those differences are really positive for me. So everything is an advantage, right? And well, I think I'm finished giving here my opinion, sharing my experience. Okay. So I hope this has been useful for you. And in the next episode, I will talk about a different topic. So I'm finished here and See you in the next episode. Bye.